You see here, in the concept of unified modeling language, now we go for the unified modeling language building blocks. Okay, what are different building blocks are available for the unified modeling language under the visual modeling of the language. Okay, and to implement object oriented design. See here, UML building blocks. Okay, these blocks are things, relationship, and the block to block connection, and diagrams are the fundamental building blocks of the UML. Okay, remember these three things and what action, relationship, thing to thing relation, diagram. Okay, uh, that is maybe a representation. Okay, and just like already I told you know, decision box, okay, start and stop, okay, square box, that is the rectangle. Okay, and what are the building blocks you are frequently used in the flow chart? Okay, the same concept is here. Okay, UML building blocks are things, relationships, and diagrams. Okay, remember that TRD, things, relationships, and diagrams are the fundamental building blocks of UMS. And the exam point of view also, it is most important. Okay, see here. First, what is meant by things? Okay, just like our vehicle programming. First one is the abstraction. Okay, abstraction means what is meant by abstraction? What do you mean abstraction? Abstraction means and is simply the representation of that entire system. Okay, and how many number of inputs it contains and how many number of it is able to provide. Just like that. Okay, see here the things. A thing is an abstraction of UML model. Okay, that's why they use the term of called abstraction. A thing is an abstraction of the UML model. Okay, the things in UML are classified into okay structural things, behavioral things, and grouping things, annotation. Okay, annotation things. Okay, what are the building blocks of that UML? Things, relationships, and diagrams. Again, things. What is meant by thing here? A thing is an abstraction of the UML model. The thing is an abstraction of the UML model. The things in UML are classified into a structural thing and based on the appearance. That is a structural thing, behavioral thing. Okay, based on that character. Okay, and it's just like our vehicle programming language, structural thing. Okay, how that structure contains. Okay, and how the appearance of the structure. Okay, behavior means how it behaves. Okay, when we give the input as A and B, it gives the output as the product of A and B. That is the behavior. Okay, structural means you have to give in detail about how it contains two inputs. Okay, input A and input B. That A and B are the variables. Okay, and output Y. Okay, and that is the one black box having two inputs and one output. Okay, and that the component instantiation is there. Okay, that is a structural thing. Okay, there is a part of that VHDL. No need to go for that topic. Here, the things are classified as a structural things, behavioral things, and grouping things. Grouping is nothing but a combination. Okay. Uh, See here, structural thing it represents mostly the static parts of that UML. Okay, static parts of that UML means, for suppose when we consider that AND gate contains the two inputs and one output. Okay, is it static parts or variable parts? It contains two inputs and one output. Okay, for the AND gate, two input AND gate, the two inputs are always fixed and one output is also fixed, right? Uh, that's why that is the static part. Okay, that appearance is never changed. Okay, that in between that inputs and outputs, that may be a black box, but it represents the structure is always constant. That's why the structural thing always represents the static parts of that UML model. The UML model here we do that unified modeling language. That's why that they represented the unified model. Maybe that logical model. Okay, what I mean, a symbol. Okay, The structural thing represents mostly the static parts of the UML. Okay, they are also known as classifiers. Classifiers. Okay, just like our binary classifiers. Okay, here the static parts of the UML is called classifiers. Get it? Okay, what we learned so far? Unified modeling language. What are the basic building blocks of the unified modeling language? Things, relationships, and diagrams. And basically, this UML is the visual modeling language. Okay, based on object-oriented design, right? In that the thing is abstraction of that UML model, and things are classified as structural things, behavioral things, and grouping things. Okay, in structural things, the structural thing always represents the structure. Okay, what is meant by structure here? The static parts of that model is simply called as the structural. Okay, called as a structural thing, and that static parts are frequently called as a classifiers. Okay, and the number of inputs A and B are called A and B, and output Y. Okay, input porting components. Okay, porting components and just a wires and here. Okay, they are called as classifiers. Okay, here class, interface, use case. Okay, use realization, active class, component, and node are the structural things in UML. Okay, remember this class and which type of inputs they are. Is it binary inputs or array inputs? Okay, interface. Okay, how they are connected and how they are used. Okay, how they are interfaced with some that black box. Okay, and active class. Okay, component and node and corrections are the structural things in UML. Okay, those are the structural things. Similarly, in behavioral things, okay, behavioral things represents the dynamic parts of that UML. Okay, the dynamic part of that UML is called a behavioral thing, and just like our character. Okay, is it the character is always fixed? Okay, based upon the time and based upon the situation and based upon the requirement, based upon the chance. Okay, character. Okay, not okay, I'm not uh, uh, intends to okay. Oh, the original character. I'm discussed about only okay the general representation. Okay, and what actions we do. Okay, so the behavioral thing always represents the dynamic parts of the UML model. Dynamic parts of the UML model, in that the interaction, state machine, and activity are the behavioral things of the UML. Right. Okay, now what is the difference between the structural thing and behavioral things? Structural things are the static parts of the UML model, and behavioral thing is the dynamic parts of the UML model. Okay, where the static parts are called classifiers. Those classifiers are class, interface, use case, realization, active class, component, and node are the structural things. There is in behavioral model interaction, and okay, that is not a physical component. Okay, there is the interaction. Is the physical component interaction? Okay, state machine, and what is the state of that machine according to the time and according to the event transition. Okay, and activity. Okay, or the behavioral modeling, behavioral things on in unified modeling language. Right, clear. And next one is the grouping things. Grouping things. Okay, of course that grouping things is the high level. Okay, that grouping things are always the high level, simply they are the organizational parts of that UML model. Okay, that grouping things are always that high level, and they are called organizational parts of the UML model. Okay, just like our libraries. Okay, grouping means library. Okay, hashing to stdio.h, that is the one grouping thing. Did you get it? Okay, there is the grouping things or the organizational parts of the UML model. Package and subsystem are the grouping of this UML. Get it? Structural, behavioral, and grouping. Grouping is always the high level, just like our library inclusion in okay, sequential programming model. Or okay, of course, sequential or concurrent, but that is the always high level. Okay, that's why they are called the organizational part of the UML model. Here, packages, libraries, and subsystems are the grouping things of that unified model in long ways. And they are always discussed in detail. Okay, towards that UML model only. Okay. See in detail here. The table below gives a snapshot of various structural, behavioral, grouping, and annotational things. See here, annotational. Okay, annotational. Okay, what is meant by annotation? Okay, while I am okay teaching this class. Okay, for suppose, see here. Okay, and actually in the shared window here, disable annotation for others option is there. Disable annotation option is there. For suppose make that click here. Okay, and for suppose I am making that enable annotation of others. Enable annotation of others. Okay, means you are able to write with the pen. Okay, that is the virtual pen on a annotate. Okay, see here. Uh, okay, it is visible to you also. Okay, one pen symbol is there. Okay, last but two. Okay, in sharing window, last but two annotation is there. Okay, and while annotation means, okay, it is easy to represent. Okay, see here, this is called annotation. Okay, and just this annotation is used here, or the annotational things means here annotation. Here annotational things or the explanatory. Here, see here, I'm use this pen for the explanation. Okay, this is called structural thing, this is called behavioral thing, this is called grouping thing, this is called annotation thing. In structural thing is the static part, behavioral thing is the dynamic part, grouping thing is the organizational part, annotational explanatory. See here, here this pen is used to explain what is what here. Okay, similarly in unified modeling language also, that annotational thing is there. Okay, this annotational thing is always used for the explanatory part of the UML model. Okay, note is the annotational thing in UML. Okay, did you get it? Okay, so what are the different things? Okay, what are the basic building blocks of that UML language? Things, relationships, diagrams are the fundamental building blocks of that unified modeling language. And things is the abstraction of that UML model, and these things are classified as a four parts as structural things, behavioral things, grouping things, and or annotational things. And the structural thing is the static part of the UML, behavioral thing is the dynamic part of the UML, and grouping thing is the organizational part of that UML. And you see everywhere and every program. Okay, this kind of okay organization. Okay, annotational thing is the explanatory part. Okay, I remember those points. See here and some of the examples. Okay, they give here for the elaboration. So table given below gives a snapshot of various structural, behavioral, grouping, and annotational things in UML. Thing, structural thing. Okay, okay, structural thing contains. Okay, already see the earlier element: class, active class, interface, use case, collaboration, node, interaction. Okay, and these are the elements available in the structural. Okay, remember that: class, active class, interface, use case, collaboration, node, and interaction. Okay, see here, and each one having its own okay diagrammatical representation or design. See here, class. Clause is a template describing a set of objectives which share the same attributes, relationships, operations, and semantics. It can be considered as a blueprint of the object. Okay, remember that point. Okay, that class is always represents that blueprint. Okay, since in CPP also. Okay, C class. Okay, earlier, do you know, earlier, uh, actually after inventing the C language by Dennis Ritchie, C language. Okay, the later and advanced concept of the concepts of that C, that is the by including that OOPS concept. Okay, that C language is called, that frequently called as a C class. Okay, that C language is called C class. Okay, with the OOPS concept. Okay, later it is represented as a CPP, C plus plus. Okay, that is the class here. Okay, that class is always the template describing a set of objects which share the same attributes and relationship. Okay, operations and semantics. Okay, it can be considered as a blueprint of the object. Okay, see here the representation, how they look. Okay, they look like representation is the identifier, variables, methods. Okay, of course, so they always having some interrelation. Okay, and active class, of course, class representing a thread of control in the system. Okay, and which one is running, currently running, that is called active. Okay, of course class, that class having a multiple processes, that processors are called multiple processes are called threads, and active thread is called active class. Okay, okay, and in that particular domain. Okay, class representing a thread of controlling in the system. It can be initiate control activity, it can be initiate control activity. That active class is represented in the same way was that of a class, but with a thick border of lines. That is the difference between thin and thick. Okay, thin is the not active. Okay, thin is the not active, and thick is the active. Okay, and that is the difference between class and active class. Okay, the student is okay. Okay, and how we recognize the student is active in classroom. Okay, okay, and the student, you have more discussion with okay, faculty, or they are okay, and they very actively participated. Okay, in the events connected by the department. Okay, and then we have a one eye on that person. Okay, similarly here the active class is also different. Okay, that class, the class is said to be an active, which is represented with some highlighted lines. Okay, that's why here the same blueprint is highlighted. Okay, the same representation is highlighted. Okay, next, interface means connection. Okay, here a collection of externally visible operations with specify a service of class. Okay, it is represented as a circle attached to the class. Okay, right, get it. Okay, interface is a collection of externally visible operations. Okay, with specify a service of a class. It is represented as a circle attached to the class. Okay, that is the symbol of the interface. Already you know what is the symbol. Okay, what is the interface? Next, use case. Use case means just like our start and stop. Okay, use case. Use case is a set of sequence of actions. Okay, it is normally represented with an ellipse indicating the name. Okay, just like our start or stop. Yeah. Okay, next, collaboration. Collaboration means interacting. I mean, to do that some functionality. Okay, a collaboration is the interaction diagram specifying the collaboration of a different use cases. It is normally represented with a dotted ellipse indicating the name. Okay, remember this. Okay, it is somewhat different. Okay, that collaboration is the interaction diagram specifying the collaboration of different use cases. It is normally represented with a dotted ellipse indicating the name, right? Next, component is the physical entity, okay, or physical packaging of a class and interface. Okay, that is called a component. That is the component physical packaging, having some physical packaging and classes and interfaces. And next one is the node. Okay, node is the combination point. Already you know combining point. Okay, a computational resource existing at runtime, representing using a cube with a name. Okay, and in programming, in this unified modeling language, that node is represented with a block. That's all. Okay, node is a computational resource. Okay, that node is a computational resource. That node is a computational resource existing at node is a computational resource existing at runtime. Okay, representing using cube with name. Next one is interaction. Interaction, already you know the behavior comprising a set of objects exchanging messages and accomplishing a specific task, represented by arrow. That is the interaction. That is the symbol of the interaction. Get it? The interaction is the behavior comprising a set of objects exchanging messages to accomplish a specific task, represented by a arrow with the name of operation. Okay, and just like A to B transition, B to C transition. See here, okay, just wait. Of course, okay, that interaction part is a behavioral thing. Okay, that interaction part is a behavioral thing, not a structural thing. That interaction part is a behavioral thing, comprising of a set of objects exchanging messages and a complete interaction. Okay, that is always the behavioral modeling. Yeah, the behavioral modeling is set of objects exchanging messages to accomplish a specific task. Similarly, state machine, already you know what is meant by state machine. Okay, of course, the state machine is also behavior specifying the sequence of states. Okay, sequence of states according to that state, what is the response and what are the different events occur. Okay, and through which an object that transfers during its lifetime. Okay, that is a behavioral state machine. And next one is grouping. Grouping means that is the high level, that just like a libraries and packages. Okay, that is the symbol. Okay, observe the symbol here. Packages, okay, which organizes the elements into a packages. It is only a conceptual thing. Okay, represented in a tabbed folder. Okay, just observe that. Okay, it is just look like a folder. Okay, tabbed folder with a name. Okay, that is the grouping. Okay, remember these symbols. Okay, grouping means that is a high level or organizational part, where it organizes the elements into a cluster as a package. It is only a conceptual thing represented as a tabbed folder with name. Okay, remember that point. Next one is annotational. Annotational means for the explanation part. Okay, interaction is just like a note. Explanatory element in unified modeling language contains a formal and informal explanatory text. Okay, may also contain some embedded image, and for the best understanding. See here. Okay, they use some examples here. Okay, for the representation of that symbols which are used in unified modeling language. Observe the C. Okay, observe the figure A. That is the alarm, and that is the class representation. Alarm, which is having some start and stop. And okay, alarm, start and stop. Okay, and state representation as a B. Okay, alarm classes are start and stop, and state representation of that alarm is alarm on. Okay, and next one is the class interaction. Okay, interaction means, for suppose that that is the alarm having some start and stop. Okay, when alarm is started. Okay, but how much time? Okay, that alarm must be ringing. Okay, that is the set time. Okay, and how much time? For suppose uh, I want to make it enable as 5 minutes, enable with 5 minutes. Okay, that is the that period is the 5 minutes. For the 5 minutes, I have to set the time. Okay, just I have to set the time uh, at maybe early morning 5 o'clock. Okay, and must be stopped at 5:05. Okay, and this is just I am taking the example for sleep awake. uh, when we use in industrial applications. Okay, it is quite different. Did you get it? Okay, I hope you understand that part of that unified modeling language. Okay, what we learn from the unified modeling language? Unified modeling language is just like an OOPS, but it is the visual modeling language for object oriented design. And what is basic building blocks of that unified modeling language? Things, relationships, and diagrams. Again, things of that UML is classified into 4 types. Okay, and a basically thing is an abstraction of that UML model. That thing is classified as a structural thing, behavioral thing, grouping thing, and annotation thing. Okay, in that again, the structural thing is classified as a uh, class, interface, use case realization or collaboration, and active class, and component and node. Okay, similarly in the behavioral thing, interaction, state machine, and activity. Okay, and the grouping things, okay, packaging and subsystem group, and annotation, explanatory parts. Okay, and these are the symbols which are frequently used for the representation of that unified modeling language. Get it? Okay, that's all about today's class. Okay, in the next class we will discuss about relationships. Okay, and the next class. Okay, it is very convenient to use. Okay, and what are the different UML tools provided by the different companies? Okay, and finally last concept is the hardware and software trade-offs. Okay, in the next class we will see about relationships. Okay, that's all about today's class. Thank you.